Hi, welcome back to Financial Journey, guys. So I'm going to be kicking it live with you guys. Going to be talking about exactly why the Lucid rally is far from over. I'm going to be going over a lot of stats, everything like that. Do a little Q&A near the end as well. Definitely bear with me. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comments as well so I can go through that. But first and foremost, a lot of liquidity, as you can see. Obviously, you can tell based on this screen on their Ortex. Short interest. Short interest was one of the biggest things when it comes to Lucid. I like to review that because it shows the opposite party. Lucid by far, like any means, is not going to be a short squeeze. But looking at right now, 8.02 is a short interest. One thing I want to draw to your attention is a day-by-day change. So this is obviously from yesterday, 19.37% increase. So 19% increase from yesterday. That is huge. So again, that's why it was down 14-15% yesterday, obviously at various points, because it shows 8 million shares that were obviously being shorted based on that. So that is pretty significant, and shorts have been starting to kind of pick back up, and you can see that based on the yellow chart right here. This shows a week-by-week basis, and shorts have been going up ever since their earnings. Obviously, there was a large expectation that they were going to miss severely, but they did fairly well, in my opinion. And in reality, smart money bought into Lucid yesterday. And looking at this, a lot of institutions and hedge funds physically did buy in as well. So you can even see more recent ones, Bank of New York Mellon as well. A lot of smaller institutions, but for the most part, a still good amount of some coming in. So definitely that is always a constant catalyst to buy on. In reality, like I said, smart money bought yesterday because if you are well aware of the infrastructure bill, that hands down supports Lucid for a long time, especially for this amount of time. I believe it's for at least 4 years. I could be wrong. But one thing, when Tesla started out, they heavily relied on kind of grants and kind of policies like this. Back then, I believe it was only 5,000, I think it was. But you can even see right now the proposed EV incentive right now is currently 7,500. So that's how it is right now. If the vehicle is built in the States, then it does obviously, or the battery is built in the States, it is an extra 500. And if it's assembled domestically with a union labor, which unfortunately Lucid does not have, then that's an additional 4,500, totaling 12,500. Right now, there is a lot of reasons to buy, and this is a Q3 2021 as far as on Lucid options per se. Institutions, as you can see, and hedge funds, 5.13 million calls that were purchased. And that is massive. That's insane. And all of this is adding to Lucid's massive rally. Keep in mind, car of the year 2022. That cannot be, that's like record breaking, especially for Lucid when it comes to any like EVs or any vehicle. This is it. So again, lucky, smart individuals that did buy in and didn't listen to morons like Jim Cramer saying that obviously Rivian and Lucid is a part of the .com bubble or similar to that. And I did do a lot of polls as well, especially under here. I'll just pull that up. But while I did pulling that up, you can see Morgan Stanley's Adam Jonas, and obviously I'm sure a lot of you are cringing because of that name, and as like he took advantage of Lucid, especially when it was near its lows, and kind of said, you know what, it's going to $12. It's like, well, F you. No, it's not. And the funny thing is, he hasn't upgraded it whatsoever, and I think he's just the biggest fool. But he did give a pretty good stance on Apple, as well as obviously he sticks by Tesla 100%. But especially looking at this, though, it does say finally Jonas' terms of the Apple car is a lot better than a bearish case than obviously pretty much everything. So Ferrari, Lucid, General Motors, all of these, he clearly is very bearish on, and obviously, especially you can tell based on their price, $12. And I'm just going to pull that up. So, and like I kind of already mentioned as well, definitely go on and take a look at my the polls as well. So as far as do you believe the EV sector is in a bubble? So 55% of about 1,300 people did say yes. So again, that's gives whether some actual credibility to Jim Cramer, what he actually thinks about that. But ultimately, like, you need to buy the dip. Lucid is one of those ones that you need to continuously buy the dip. And look at this. Adam Jonas, $12. You are a moron. But hands down, this is actually, yeah, 41 came out, looks like November 17th. I believe that was Bank of America, I believe. But regardless, obviously shorts are definitely took advantage of the situation, took advantage of Jim Cramer, pointlessly talking as usual. And I did do a video yesterday. I love the comments that came in from it, saying that he's obviously just pumping people, which is very true. Every comment that he said is come 100% true, that he causes rallies, he causes sell-offs, and then the next day it just crashes. So if he has a recommendation for something, it usually crashes the following day. So again, this goes back to the point for anyone watching or anything like that. Don't listen to a lot of analysts. Do your own due diligence. You, hands down, are a lot smarter than the majority of the analysts out there. I swear on that. And most of them have underlying kind of benefits on why they're actually doing it, right? So I do want to show you this as well. So again, keep in mind a lot of these institutions, especially that do put sells on whatever stock. So I already mentioned this, a lot of institutions still constantly buying in. But one thing that you always kind of look at is who's shorting obviously Lucid when it comes to at the end of the day. So Bank of America obviously closed out their, these are puts as well, so options. But there is a lot. So Citadel, 3.9 million as far as shares. I'm not going to say that name whatsoever. 𝗪𝗧𝗏𝗡𝗘𝗧 International, whatever it is. There is still a lot of actual institutions still shorting Lucid, but not as many as I would have expected, considering the short interest as of right now. Like I said, 8.02, 19% of kind of they came out of the woodworks yesterday just to take advantage of the scenario, like I already mentioned. But we are bouncing back very hard, and I definitely like that. We're currently up roughly about 11.5%. So with that, there is a lot of good things going into the rally. And in my opinion, right now, we've kind of exhausted all of the catalysts. And in reality, we've had more catalysts in this little rally here than pretty much most companies have had all year. Yeah, and that's the sad truth. But I'm not complaining one bit. It is very good. So this is why it's a little bit healthy. We got rid of a lot of the paper hands yesterday. Especially going back to this as well, did you take profits? So 30% of about 1,500 people said yes, they did take profits. So that's the whole market, right? Market, you move money from the patient or from the impatient to the patient. That's hands down the basic terminology of anything like that. Looking at the technicals though, this is a nice reversal, a nice bounce back, because if you look at a lot of the resistance and support levels, we are very strong and it looks very strong. So not only today did we break past the first resistance point, we are approaching the second. And right now we are currently 52.62. So we are getting fairly close. So 53.24 is the second resistance, and then the third and final one is 56. So again, we are fairly close, and in my opinion, we can easily get past that and probably most likely go to 60. I'll probably do another video as well this coming weekend as far as my weekly price targets as I do. Again, if you are just tuning in, don't forget to smash the thumbs up, subscribe. I do a lot of videos on Lucid and a lot of other stocks as well. Obviously, same kind of criteria, that I'm a big value investor. And when it comes to Lucid, despite this, how much this has ran up, and it has ran up quite a lot, is still, in comparison to what it can do, is a pretty good discount. And it's a big value play as well, especially a lot of these stages as well. Any dips, this is why Lucid, I'm going to continue to say this, Lucid in reality is a big value play. And a little bit of speculation. In my opinion, I do feel that a lot more because there's, like I said, we've kind of exhausted a lot of the upfront catalyst for Lucid. Obviously, they're going to have and probably announce on Twitter a lot of their more delivery events and things like that. But I do feel that's kind of all built into the price as of right now. So we do need something new. And obviously, again, this is a little bit of speculation, but I do assume that there's going to be a lot more institutions and hedge funds putting buys on Lucid, upping their price targets. Probably not this moron, Adam Jonas, but other ones. And not only that, I do strongly feel like, again, it's kind of weird doing lives because I kind of am expecting an answer back sometimes. But hypothetically, look, ARK, Queen herself, Cathie Woods. So obviously we all know that she is very bullish on Tesla. In reality, I do feel that especially the tech that is in Lucid far outweighs Tesla, and hands down. So I do feel that she will be starting to look at Lucid, and when she does, imagine what this will do to the stock price. The queen herself, who believes in EVs to a T, to the death, because as if you don't know, these are some of the price targets that she put on Tesla. So the expected value by 2024 is around 7,000. Obviously a bearish case, 1,500, which obviously we've gotten pretty close to that. So, and then the bullish case, 15,000. So imagine, especially based on that growth concept that she has, and obviously they explain exactly why, imagine what can happen to Lucid. And in reality, I do feel that this is a strong catalyst, and most likely she will actually probably buy Lucid, because given the circumstances and the growth aspect that Tesla went through, it is a no-brainer. Lucid is just a baby in comparison to what Tesla is, and when Tesla was at the same stage where Lucid was, they weren't doing nearly as well whatsoever. Lucid hands down was doing and has done everything right. They have not let their investors down one bit, and I keep saying that. There's a lot of individuals in a lot of my comments on a lot of the videos saying, you know what, like bearish comments and whatever it is. In reality, it's all unjustified, right? Like Lucid has not let us down one bit. Like let's say tomorrow, then they say, you know what, we can't meet their 2021 our deliveries. Then yeah, they would have caused a little bit of disruption. But in reality, other than that, they have not done anything. So there is a lot of good things when it comes to Lucid. So obviously, definitely take a look at a lot of my videos. I bring up almost a new catalyst every single day. There is a lot of good things. Obviously, a lot of institutions physically buying in. That is always going to be a catalyst. In reality, most likely we are up today because of a lot of these shorts that was 19% up yesterday are covering today. But even with that, like technicals, I'm a big technicals guy. Technicals on Lucid have been phenomenal. Like they've been amazing. And in reality, that is another reason why you need to keep on buying. Because looking at this as well, momentum indicator, we did lose some buyers. Obviously, the number of buyers are still technically above zero. So new buyers are still coming in all the time. But obviously the number have decreased, and that's something to always watch and kind of worry about. So one thing I also like to do is match the momentum indicator to the volume. So as of right now, 123,000 or 123 million, I should say, as far as volume. So you typically, if you piece all that together, you can kind of see whether big whales are buying in or not, right? It's kind of just a simple formula. So again, it's one of those things that it's always good to watch a lot of the different indicators. Stochastic, though, despite this run up that we are having, it's still a little bit of a deviation. I don't know if you can see that. Red line is still technically above the black. So as of right now, that is a little bit of a bearish sentiment when it comes to that. But keep in mind, this whole time period has been like, even looking at like the stochastic momentum, all the indicators have been showing very bullish cases for the whole time. So this little blip I'm not too worried about. Shows a little bit of signs of weakness. It's obviously same matches yesterday as well. And again, it goes back to the point where it is good that a lot of the paper hands got out, whether it's because of Jim Cramer opening his mouth or whatever it is. But yeah, it's one of those things that it's beneficial for the long-term health of the stock. And like I mentioned, so as far as Q3 2021 as well, this is something I always like to bring up. So a 53% increase in total calls. And especially, I'm sure everyone and their dog knows how profitable options have been doing. Obviously, I even did a video on that as well. I do a lot of, I obviously buy a lot of call options, sell a lot of puts, do covered call options. I do it all. Everything has been very profitable. And you definitely need to take advantage of the dips when applicable, whenever you can buy. Keep in mind, though, when you are buying this, you are buying out for a long-term contract. Like, you should be thinking at least 6 months, a year, 2 years out at least. Because in reality, given all the circumstances on how much they expect to do, how much they expect to accomplish as well, as far as their growth, because it is expected to be probably about 800,000 as far as capacity, assuming they open maybe about 3 more plants. or manufacturing facilities, I should say, this can easily be 200 or plus. So that is a lot of good things going with Lucid as well. So I'm just going to take a look at some of the comments. So as far as Monday price, in reality, well, looking at some of this, we are doing fairly well. The only contrary thing is it's still a pretty wide gap. So you can see as far as the support levels, right, as of this morning, we're about 43, 39, and 36. So we do need another catalyst to push us a little bit higher. And as of right now, almost any good news that's been coming out is, because especially for a company that's starting out as well, such as Lucid, anything is good news. Anything can be relatable and converted to a catalyst and a reason to buy on. And that can be said for this. So analysts doing upgrades, obviously continuation of institutions and buyers and things like that. And keep in mind as well, when they submit their 13F, that doesn't mean they bought it that same day, right? It could have been the 3 months prior. It's just when they're disclosing it. So it's one of those things that it's like a lot of these are good catalysts, especially one of the biggest things is their infrastructure bill. Usually this makes up the biggest difference as far as whether a company is profitable or not. So this is very beneficial, and Tesla heavily relied on that, especially while they got their kind of ducks in order and everything like that. So I definitely do feel that this is going to benefit Lucid considerably. So I do feel as far as a price, we'll probably hopefully be about 48 plus. 48 is a very strong resistance and has been. But in reality, I do see us probably around 48 plus at least. Ideally, given if one of those catalysts that does come out will be $60 easily. So that is a lot going on there. Let's see. Price action, as far as whether Lucid will drop, it possibly could drop. You never know, especially considering if a lot more big names, and I hate to call Jim Cramer a big name, but sometimes people just speak out. AQST, I know a lot of people are talking about that. A lot of people ask about that. Yeah, I keep looking at it. Just right now with time constraints, most likely I'll be doing that fairly soon. Yeah, Woods and Musk are buddies. Yeah, they 100%, definitely. Lucid is going to explode massive. Yeah, I agree with that, Vets. Yeah, I agree. I'll stop saying his name, Vets. Yep. So yeah, when it comes down to it, there is a lot of good things. Oh, nobody wants to see that ad. But yeah, there's a lot of good things when it comes to Lucid as well. Even looking at, like I said, the price target, average median price target of everyone is about 44 for that. Right now, it's just, we're in limbo, right? There's no real new upcoming catalyst for Lucid. Just right now, we are basing on what came out of the earnings. And so obviously they did have that prospectus that came out as well. Obviously that was very well delivered. And with that, it obviously increased because obviously, like I already mentioned, they do have a lot of high expectations for itself. And they have a lot of good growth plans, such as their manufacturing plant in Saudi Arabia. That is a huge deal, especially considering, I think, what they say, Saudi Arabia wants to have all local vehicles purchased only by 2030. And if Lucid does stick to their plan by opening up that plant by 2024, then they'll have that first kind of step advantage over Tesla, over any of the big names. So hands down, that is it. They obviously, Saudi Arabia does appreciate value significantly, and Lucid has that 1,000,000%, and they're very, very classy. Also, if you guys haven't already, smash a thumbs up, subscribe, join the Discord. A lot of good chats on here as well. Yeah, definitely take a look at this. A lot of good people, things like that. So yeah. Oh, thanks, Vance. I appreciate that. Let's see, 53.79. Yeah, honestly, I think it goes back to the point where it's all this. I think a lot of this is a technical driven rally, especially considering the fact that like anyone would sell like Lucid. Like I said, I get what Jim, or what, I'm not gonna say his name anymore, about Rivian. Yeah, Rivian, honestly, like that evaluation was completely overdone. But when it comes to Lucid, like they are not a bubble whatsoever. They've like completely like met every expectation, 100%. And I think that speaks volumes for itself, right? And honestly, looking at this right now, we did break past the second resistance point, which I kind of said we were going to quickly do. Didn't think we were going to do it well. I guess there's only about an hour and a bit left of the market. Honestly, if we break past this resistance point, the third one, to as far as later today or in the remaining hour, then yeah, we'll easily see $60 next week. Like everything is going parabolic when it comes to Lucid. And I think one thing about Lucid that I like, especially based on the comments I've seen, a lot of people are still buying even at these levels, even despite looking at the chart and it being near its almost highs. It's justified. And there's a lot of people bringing this up, saying, look, like this is going to happen at the same time as this. It's like, no, this went up massively because of vague announcements that people took out of proportion. And then I don't like these kind of things because they just crash further than what they are. But this concept here, like right here, is exactly here. Nice natural growth. And we were considering, a lot of people think that this is going to the 15s and whatever it is. Like this is crazy. I've actually had a couple of comments saying that they were going to like 20s. It's like, no, it's 100, definitely not. And that'd be awesome. Yeah, hopefully it closes above 54. If it closes above 54, then we have a lot of good stuff going on. So short interest. So Pierre, I'll show you that. So short interest right now. So short interest right now is 8.02. So in reality, pretty low. I still do anticipate, with all of that and everything coming, I would anticipate that still around the 6%. That would be ideal. Tesla is currently around 4%, I think 3.4 or something like that. So Lucid would definitely need to lower that a little bit. And I do feel that if they continue with their plans of like deliveries or 2021 deliveries and so forth, they're definitely going to close out all these shorts. But anyways, this isn't the only thing that really has affected Lucid typically for Fridays is their options activity, which has been through the roof. It's been insane. And again, for those that don't do options, highly recommend in searching them. But day by day change. So yesterday they did increase by 19%. So that is pretty significant at the end of the day. But again, that kind of goes into it. Obviously, a little bit of fear. People want to take profits. People want to listen to this guy. And yeah, there's a lot of different things all playing with Lucid right now. And like I said, even what's his name, Adam Jonas, still sticking to his guns as far as a negative sentiment on Lucid. So overall, a lot of things playing into Lucid's price right now. Yeah, Vets, 100%. You definitely need to learn options. There's a lot of different ways how to play options. Obviously, you can just do covered calls, sell puts. Like I sell puts all the time, easily. Actually, let's see. I'm just going to show you some options. So a lot of good stuff going on. So for instance, yeah, even like December 17th, I have varying a lot of call options, random expiry dates. But like, just look at it. Hypothetically, even if you buy 100 shares, obviously one option is 100 shares. Look at this. You can do $85 and still get $100 as like a premium. easily, and still sell it for 85. So still get about, was it about 30-40% as far as profits from your potential, and still get 150 easily. Like, it's a no-brainer. Or even if you just buy the naked options as well. On the contrary though, even if you, this is why I like selling puts, because I do this for my core portfolio as well as Lucid. But for instance, December to the 10th, I think I have a couple there. I do usually weeklies on this. But for instance, even if you think, like, when would Lucid ever get to $24? Especially by December 10th. In less than a month, it's not going to go to $24. So hypothetically, you can just sell a put, collect, obviously it's not much money, but obviously there's very little risk. It's easy money at the end of the day. And it just goes to show that there's a lot, like, there's so much ways how to make money. When it comes to Lucid, it's crazy. Is 35 price real again? Well, I in reality, Pierre, I don't think, as far as a short interest, I don't think this is ever going to have a short squeeze. You'd have to have around 20+% at least for a potential short squeeze. There might be a short squeeze on Lucid if, for instance, let's say all in one day or even over a span of a week, Cathie Wood says that she's going to buy a significant portion of Lucid. A couple more big institutions buy in. Jim Cramer says, you know what, Lucid is the king, and whatever, like, all these come together all as one, then yeah, shorts will all squeeze if that's the case, but that won't happen. I only show short interest because, again, these are the individuals that are betting against Lucid, right? And especially when you see a downtrend happening, you see that there's more, the risk as far as buying Lucid is less in reality. Whereas typically when short interest is fairly high, obviously you kind of, it's a good like a benchmark. That's why I kind of show that. The only thing that really happens with Lucid is gamma squeezes, and that's because of the huge option activity, massive fluctuations in price. So market makers are having to call or cover their positions pretty significantly. There's a lot of call options, even the ones expiring today. Like, there's insane. So this column right here is volume. This is open interest. Like, there's a lot, like 20,000 at 60. Obviously, I think there was a big anticipation that Lucid was going to get to 60 this week. In reality, I didn't think that it was possible, but definitely next week it can be done. And again, it's one of those things that if we get over 60, then 100% there's going to be another gamma squeeze, cause a little bit more of a squeeze. But sometimes squeezes aren't good, right? Squeezes cause unnatural growth, and if you do follow my channel, you know that I love natural growth. I love technicals. Oh, thanks, Ben. I know Vets. I know I couldn't. I tried not to say his name. Yeah, shorts are definitely covering. Yeah, I'm just gonna. Let's see. Oh. You said GME. Let's see, GameStop. I haven't really looked at GameStop for a very long time. See, even GameStop, 8%. That, in reality, like, looking at GameStop back when it was being, like, talked about, like, look at the short interest. Like, short interest was over, like, that's insane. Like, this, now it's more realistic. Obviously, we're only looking at the yellow line. I'll just kind of get rid of all of this. Like, back in January when like, GameStop was, like, being talked about, look at this. This is why a short squeeze can happen, because short interest on GameStop was over 100%. That definitely shows and is called for some unethical trading going on there. But so that's obviously just showing you GameStop. Definitely by Lucid's means, though, it's not going to be a short squeeze at all. And you can even see it is starting to cover a little bit, so 19%. It was 19.5. So, but still, short interest. Yeah. What price do you see Lucid in the far future? It could become, easily. Yeah. I find that, Vets solid. So when it comes to, so Christopher, as far as Lucid, how I see them in reality, because the biggest thing that we have to, the first step advantage that Tesla had, they have a significant market share. So I just want to show you this as well. I believe this is the tab I need. Okay, so just looking at this, obviously I was preparing for a video that I'm going to do this weekend that I'm going to incorporate this, but looking at electric car vehicles, this was from 2020, the statistics, as far as the market caps. So looking at Tesla, and obviously you can equivalently tell market cap for the most part is as well as deliveries. So market share, Tesla has the majority, right? As you can tell, then there's Lucid, Rivian, and so forth. But when it comes to Lucid, though, Lucid is definitely performing significantly better than even Tesla. Tesla, which is a established company, they've got their production down, they've got everything, like they've been around for obviously a little bit, and they know how the game works already. Lucid is definitely trying its best, and it is doing phenomenal. So I do anticipate over the next little bit, Lucid taking a lot of the market share from Tesla. So out of everything, I do see that Lucid easily will be most likely even next year $200. And even looking at their growth model, I believe it's around 1,000% as far as production increase a year by year. That is what they're expected to Lucid to do. So I think this is why we are having these massive surges, because in reality, like if you're going to compare and contrast like Lucid versus Tesla, Lucid can easily be $500 within maybe about 2024 in reality, and especially if they open up their Saudi Arabia facility, because I think still to this day people underestimate Saudi Arabia's contribution to Lucid and what they can actually do. So by 2024, hands down, it could easily be $500 plus, especially if it follows the growth pattern, especially if there's a lot of incentives such as the infrastructure bill and like everything. Because like I said, everything like from what Lucid's goals and capacity currently is, because I believe it's 90,000 capacity. There's a lot of good things going for Lucid that in reality, and I know there was a couple conversations as far as Apple as well. In reality, just because they're doing their Apple car, I don't feel that a partnership is still out of kind of a deal with Lucid. So they still possibly could be there. Both do have very high expectations on vehicles, and both as far as a business model are the same. So I think once Apple realizes how difficult and cumbersome it is to actually develop a vehicle, and especially if their tech isn't even as high kind of up to code or comparison with Lucid, even more reason for them to partner with them. And yeah, there's a lot of good things. And even looking at this, I've brought this up, a lot of call options as well. A lot of call options. Yeah, Lucid is hands down the real McCoy. Yeah, vets. I use Ortex. I use a lot of different things to kind of piece together a good picture. But I use Fintel for institutions, Ortex for usually the up-to-date short interest, general news, and I believe, Pierre, you just asked for what AMC is. I used to do a lot of AMC. 15.44. So in reality, it is what it is. I think in order for a short squeeze to happen, you need it over like 20-something%. But overall, it gives you good representation. A lot of good stats on here. Highly recommend it. Yeah, Vets, I do agree. If Apple was to partner with Lucid, though, that is insane. And yet, power hour. Expect this to get over 54. Yeah, looking at that volume, though, I love seeing that volume. Oh, you're welcome. Oh, Steven, that is very ambitious, but I love it. I'm not going to disagree. 58 would be nice. And yeah, once we get on a technical stance, once we actually, because I believe on this day we were, after early morning was, I think, over 60, 62 or something like that. As far as after hours, we definitely have what it takes to get over that. And even looking at this, like, yeah, we've passed over the second resistance point. I don't know, again, if we can get over the third resistance in the last hour. So who knows? Could easily get that. But typically, looking at this right now, RSI once we get to the $55 mark, 55.84, especially with everything that's happening, RSI is going to be at 70%. So that is relatively high. So this is why it comes back to, when I like looking at the chart, I like natural growth, right? You want the step ladder. You want to go up, consolidate, get rid of paper hands, new, and it's a constant trend, right? You don't necessarily always want this. And if we do get past RSI, typically around the 70 to 80, that is typically overbought and could be, on a technical stance, a reason for a downtrend. So on that aspect, it's I like what's happening right now. We are just making up for what's happening, or what this individual did. But even before him, I think he just took advantage of where Lucid was on the chart and just said, you know what, like, take profits when you can. Like, we're at all-time high, or at least 52-week highs or whatever it was. Meet Kevin's shorting Rivian. Honestly, I was thinking about, I very rarely short, but I was looking at Rivian, and it was definitely really high, like, for no reason. When it comes to Lucid, I would never short Lucid whatsoever. Lucid is solid, but yeah, Armando, I completely agree. I do that as, like, I think I already showed this. Yeah, did you take profits in Lucid? 30% said yes. So definitely, it's one of those things that I think you also have to keep in mind. This rally that did happen, a lot of new investors that have never invested, and I can tell that based on the comments as well. Sometimes they might not know anything about stocks. They just know, okay, Lucid's hot. Okay, let's buy a Lucid. So I think it's one of those things that a lot of individuals didn't know what to do, how to do it. They're not used to being up, even in, depending on when they bought, maybe 100, 200% up, right? Because if they would have bought here, they're up maybe about close to 300%. That might be very scary to a lot of individuals. They don't, I guess, they want to keep profits. So I think a lot of that was already probably in people's minds around here. And then once some moron just speaks out and says, you know what, it's a bubble, it just causes kind of a little bit more of a panic, and it validates a lot of those. It just converts people a lot faster. Whereas at the end of the day, it's going to be the patient investors that make the most money. Especially, again, I always bring this up only because it's similar kind of, obviously, a sector. When it comes to Tesla as well, hands down, like, I think people learned their lesson with Tesla. Like, even Tesla as well, like, if you would have paper handed and sold when it was pre-split at $200, well, you just missed out on probably about 1,200% of potential increase. So I think people learned their lesson with Tesla. I've definitely have learned, because unfortunately when it comes to Tesla, I actually did sell. So, and I actually like Lucid a lot more than Tesla in general as well. So this hands down is going to be a very long-term investment for myself. Oh, that sucks. That sucks, KH. Yeah, no, I get that, Vets. 100%. Make sure you guys do your own due diligence, especially when it comes to, if you're looking for just basic stats, take a look at a lot of my videos. I give you a lot of stats, reasons why Lucid is going to continue, and there's been a lot of cases in a lot of videos I've done saying, you know what, technicals look bad, things it's a sell. Unfortunately, those videos don't really I get a lot of pushback from individuals. Unfortunately, a lot of people like to hear a lot of the good news, and when sometimes things aren't always pointing in the right direction, people don't really like that, right? It's just one of those things. At the end of the day, it's people like only good news. So hands down, even when it comes to Lucid, there is when there's negatives, I'm going to call them out 100%. As of right now, this is why I love Lucid. There's been very little negatives, right? The only negatives, which even during their earnings, when I did an earnings video, I mentioned saying that they didn't really address the remaining deliveries in 2021. That's a negative. But on the contrary, they provided their prospectus the following day. So there's a lot of good things going for Lucid. They're very transparent as much as they can be. I know that's not always a lot of people's favorites, but it is what it is, right? It's their choice to do that. It is looking like, I don't know, hopefully the last half an hour will be the strong. Looks like people are consolidating. We are, 53.66. Will Lucid go up on Monday? So in reality, I do feel, I guess going back to it, we are kind of out of upfront catalysts. So we are right now at the mercy of either, because all their deliveries built into the price right now is assuming that we have met and exceeded all of the deliveries. And as of right now, that's not very accurate to say because we don't know that. As far as right now, there is a lot of good things going for it. I do anticipate, especially with how Lucid is going, that there's going to be more analysts doing upgrades on it, if not initial buying opportunities on that. So with that, I do strongly feel that next week we'll get over 60. Right now, we're at the hands and the mercy of the technicals. So this right now, it's a nice technical reversal because even with the sell-off that did happen yesterday, the technicals didn't really show, and it showed that ultimately big buyers were still getting in. Despite the number of buyers were going down, the volume was up. So it definitely showed that a lot of retail investors were exiting, but big buyers were buying. So that definitely shows there's a lot of strong support when it comes to Lucid. And hands down is all pivotal, right? I do strongly feel if we get over 56 over this resistance point, so 56.82, whether that be Monday or later today, if we can close and stay above that, then yeah, we'll be about 60 plus. If not, then I think we'll be between about the $52 to $55 range in reality. But keep in mind, look at the support levels as of this morning. So 43, 39, and 36. So if there is a negative that does come out or another moron that does speak out against Lucid, then yeah, there will be a little bit of a downside potential, downside trend. And someone said, is it too late to buy? In reality, no. Depending on your time horizon. If you are thinking a couple years out, this is going to be chump change compared to what it's going to be. And I think that's why you just need to put it in perspective, right? Like looking at this in reality, like where it is, it's going to be massively, substantially higher in the coming years. So, like honestly, look at that, 53.91, perfect. I love that. But yeah, in a couple years from now, it's going to be huge, right? So, I don't know. It's just your perspective. I honestly have been continuously buying. As far as not physical shares, I've been mostly doing options and obviously staggering the expiry dates. But there's a lot of good things when it comes to Lucid. So yeah, it all depends on your time horizon. I honestly strongly feel that there is a good buying opportunity right now. Yeah, that's very true. Reservations, 17,000 as of right now. Yep. Yeah, Morgan Stanley. Yeah, they were playing the game. They definitely bought the dip, 100%. Exactly, Armando. Exactly. This is going to be cheap in comparison if you actually put it in perspective. it's funny, even looking at some of the comments and even on my Discord. Again, if you aren't in my Discord, definitely join it. Link in the description below. A lot of good chats. I put a lot of good stats on there as well. But like, this is going to be so cheap. And even when it was like here, when it was around like 30s or something like that, people still in the comments like, oh man, I wish I bought more then. Like look at the trajectory. There's nothing to show us and indicate that we are done by any means. And even on technical stance, it's usually these things, whenever you're outside the Bollinger Band, those are kind of the situations that you have to worry about, because depending on the circumstances of why we're out of that, 9 times out of 10 it falls back in. Usually what you ultimately want is it to hug the upside within pretty much this range. You want it to hug that. If it is still staying in this range, then technically it's still on a bullish trend. And as of right now, as you can see, the majority of the time it's had nice natural growth. This is why I've been saying almost every video I do technical analysis on it, because honestly, a lot of this has been a very strong technical rally, and it hasn't done this. Hasn't had this massive blowout that, like I've said in a lot of videos, it's very sexy, very appealing, but usually it falls down further than what it is, right? This has been very nice. A lot of good support levels made every step of the way, with the exception of this little sellout going on here. But again, I just got rid of some paper hands, some individuals, and brought in more new investors. And like I said, this is why I like looking at the technicals, because you can tell yesterday big buyers were getting in, because number of buyers were going down, seen on the momentum indicator, and volume was up significantly. So again, it's just an equation, right? You factor that in, and big buyers were getting in. So I do anticipate a lot more institutions and hedge funds physically saying that they're going to be buying, or that they did buy. And even looking at this, just scrolling down, this is just over the last couple of days, right? This is November 16th that they came out. Hey, look at this, Jane Street. And a lot of these institutions are doing this strategy. So they own the physical shares. So they have 322,000 shares. They do call options and puts, obviously to hedge whatever their option is. But the common thing among all these institutions that is very rare when it comes to Lucid is everyone is very heavy on the call options. So yeah, 4.2 million call options, which is insane, that they have in total for calls, and then 2.2 2.2 on puts. So very significant. And even looking at this, just Q3 of 2021, I've brought this up a lot, 5.1 million call options were purchased by hedge funds. Then 27.3 were purchased in all 13F filers. So fairly significant, a lot of volume, and options activity is a way to go as well. Options activity definitely shows that there is a lot of upside potential coming. And yeah, there we go. Broke past 54. Just another notch under our belt. Honestly, yeah, when it comes to Lucid, I love just looking at not worrying about it. A lot of my other ones as well, it's I kind of sometimes have to watch cautiously, but yeah, when it comes to Lucid, I don't care about the dips. I don't care about that. I know long term this is one of those ones. Yeah. Yeah, Lucid. Yeah, I agree, Michael. Lucid wins car of the year. Motor Trend car of the year. Obviously that's just Motor Trend, but yeah, would be nice. Definitely. So as far as, it's hard to gauge the options, because in some of them, especially the farther out ones, they have pretty strong, pretty widespread. I think I have about 40,000, I think overall, 40 to 50, Michael. Definitely chump change in comparison to a lot of individuals that leave comments in there. There's some good, smart people that bought pretty heavy here. This is where I bought, but I do a lot of covered calls, and unfortunately I got caught a couple times. So I initially did have, I think, 3,500 shares. Now I have about 750. But I'm pretty heavy with call options as well. Very advantageous. Recommend doing it. And let's see. Oh, who said that? I think that was Pierre or something, or someone said 58. 58, that will be very beneficial. If you guys haven't already, smash the thumbs up, subscribe. I appreciate all that. Thanks, Sammy. Also, don't forget to join the memberships as well. Good place to be. Going to start doing live streams for members only as well. So definitely take a look at that. Yeah, look at that. I love this rally. Well, I think in reality, a lot of like good people and smart people realize that when someone like this speaks, it's not only that it's a good buying opportunity, but there's a lot of things that people who sold, and like I said, about 30% of people did sell, who did the poll at least. I think they realize that they made a mistake and that they're being forced to buy in at significantly higher rates as well, right? It's just one of those things that, yeah. And today was a very pivotal point, right? Because even if you look at the chart where we started, obviously we had a nice strong kind of day yesterday. So looking at the 5-day chart, we made back a lot of time. But we did obviously look at this, especially the 17th when we had that massive little sell-off. There's a lot of good things going on with Lucid, but we found good support. We are just bouncing off of that and we'll easily trend significantly higher. So this is why it goes back to the point that we are in reality getting very close to the third resistance level. And we, in my opinion, we can easily do that 100%. So unless there's some other news that is coming out that I don't know, but typically it's just vague things talking about is it a buy from below average analysts or whatever it is. Yeah, not much. But yeah, there's especially when it comes to Lucid, sometimes there's no rhyme or reason, and usually when it comes to that, it's just more of a technical rally. 100%. Can I do a video on options? I did do a video recently. I will show you. Lucid. Yeah, I've done a lot of videos on Lucid. 43 in total videos on Lucid. And make money with Lucid options. Definitely take a look at that. So, and if you're ever wondering how behind the scenes of Lucid looks, or YouTube, it is this. So yeah, make money with options. Definitely take a look at that. A lot of good videos. Obviously, I primarily talked about things that will benefit you. I didn't talk about puts. I talked about selling puts, call options, covered call options. A lot of good ways how to do that. Oh, I'd love to hear that, vets. Yeah, anyone like this, hands down, Lucid is going to be one of those stocks that king of the EV. Yeah, Lucid is definitely going to be one of those ones that is going to be the star of everyone's portfolio, especially if you have patience, right? Rivian is trying to rally but can't keep up. Yep. Let's see. Nope. Lost my thing. I'll pull that back up. Yeah, Rivian definitely is nothing compared to us. 100%. I have way too many tabs open all the time. I think is anyone else going to deal with that whenever you're trying to do research? I have like 50 tabs open all the time. Okay. There we go. Got Lucid up. 54.30. And this is Rivian. So yeah, Rivian up about 8%. Still, in my opinion, over. It should be 80 to 90, but it is what it is. Is anyone here invested in Rivian? Let's see. Yeah, Einen, there's no real negative news about Rivian. It's just based on what it is, it's just overvalued. Wally, what do I think about Apple? Very good. Yeah, the fact that they're doing their Apple cars, good. In reality, I still think Lucid is going to be significantly better. Yeah, they're in the process of building that. No, well, it depends. For actual concrete kind of details, for statistics, let me just see who said that. John. So yeah, for as far as actual details, yeah, I use this, Ortex. Those are, I know, reliable sources. Sometimes I use, depending on my broker as well. I'll pull that up. So sometimes I use the news that comes out of here through my broker, which is TD. Everything else is up for speculation, right? There's room for inconsistencies. On technicals, I use bar chart just for basic resistance points. Beats kind of doing it myself looking on here, but I like using I use Yahoo just for this, just for videos, because it's a lot easier to move in between. But I do have obviously through TD, I use my platform for in-depth, my own personal technicals and stuff like that. I agree with that, Rob. Hell no, 100%. Definitely, despite everything, guys, this is the perfect time to buy. Actually, why do I have still Rivian up? Sorry, guys. Much better. There we go. 54.85, the high. 142 million shares being traded. This is one hot stock. This is definitely where it's at. Yeah, look at that. I'm just watching the price go. I love it. And can't get more better than that. Oh, you're welcome, John. Yeah, no, when it comes to doing your own due diligence, sometimes hard, right? I think the biggest thing is even I did a video on Sundial, and Sundial, if you guys don't know, might get delisted from the NASDAQ fairly soon. And there's been news saying that it's getting delisted November 22nd. That was just spread out by articles, and that is incorrect, false news. And that's one of the things you have to make sure you do your own research and things like that, right? It's hard to actually find decent and credible stuff. That's why I also use obviously Fintel, because it has 13F, so you know that's just kind of correct. This one I use for just, it's a broad, vague kind of component. It doesn't really show exactly how much or when. For instance, I use it just for general calls, right? So 5.1 million call options were purchased in Q3 of 2021. It usually just shows that kind of thing. And it's good to see the number of ownership, right? New positions open. So 66% increase over the previous quarter, 53% in call options over the previous quarter. 116% of hedge funds increased their position. So a lot of good things stats to look at. Just, I guess, depending on what route you are looking at. Monday, especially given the circumstance right now, if we close above 55, I do think it's going to be a stagnant day. All depends on where we're sitting. I do strongly feel overall next week will be strong and fairly plus, but I do think that next week we should be about 60. I don't think we'll see that on Monday though. So most likely about the 58 range, or 56 most likely, assuming everything stays the same. Probably the third resistance level will be our Monday test, so 56.82. And if we can get past that, then yeah, like I said, like huge, like 52-week high will be there very soon. 1 month high. Yeah, there's a lot of good things and a lot of good reasons to continue to buy. There's almost, yeah. The only bad thing is that a lot of individuals are, I guess, ultimately thinking is this rally here, there's almost like a new catalyst every almost 2 days, right? Either an analyst upgrade or huge institution talks about Lucid. Lucid articles, very bullish ones, are very good catalysts, because keep in mind the typical retail investor doesn't really know exactly everything that needs to be done or exactly what is being like done. So they heavily do rely on these, and this is why I talk about these in my videos. It's institutional ownership, short interest, and things like that, because the typical person doesn't know, right? And they use these as buying opportunities. So when they see, like for instance, like I don't know, Blackstone increasing their position or whatever it is, they use that, and sometimes it's, yeah. But regardless, that's what I'm getting at, is the fact is there's no known potential catalyst coming forward. Just right now, it's just going to be future expectations. So as of right now, we know it's the info that we know, right? So 17,000 in reservations, potentially at least enough money right now to opening up the Saudi Arabia facility. So still in plans for 2024. They would need to start that most likely next year, and that will increase their output and capacity by about 300,000. And not only that, that I think is the biggest thing, and a lot of people underestimate Saudi Arabia and their contribution towards Lucid. That's a real deal. Oh, Fade, that's a pretty good flop, or a good profit going on there. So are you currently out of it, Fade? Yeah, no, definitely. Lucid will, in reality, probably win quite a lot of awards in general. Um, yeah, there's a lot of good things going for Lucid. Like, there's no negatives. Again, they haven't let us down whatsoever. And I like, even on Twitter as well, they are very active. Like, there's always something like new all the time. Um, and I like their tone as well. Their tone is very genuine, and it's not like, I don't know, they don't have like Elon as a CEO. Sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a bad thing, but they talk very humble yet that they know that their product is good. So yeah, honestly, they're I can't wait to actually start seeing their vehicles driving. I'm kind of getting tired of seeing all these damn Teslas all over the place. Makes me just want to ram one off the road. Forget I'm live sometimes. But yeah, no, definitely Lucid is the place to be. Well, unfortunately, Rob, I think that's one of the negatives why a lot of people don't like about Lucid is they're very transparent as best as they can, but when it comes down to it, they're not really providing that many details, right? Like their first delivery, October the 30th, I did a vague kind of thing, like 65 miles down, 455 to go, which was their expectation. Like I think we know obviously they did 65. Even when they did the California delivery event, they didn't really say exactly how many. So as of right now, it's just vaguely, from what I can see based on pictures and what people talked about, I think it was around 20. So if they are still wanting to meet their 520 by 2021, they definitely need to get their ass in gear. 55, let's see that. Wow, 55.12. yeah, honestly, hopefully that will, because of all this, would have people not listen to other individuals. Like, don't listen to Adam Jonas as well. Good old Warren Buffett. Whenever I see his name, I always got to read the article. Yeah, that's the thing. Warren Buffett, he's another big value investor. And like I said, even with all this that has increased, this is still a massive discount and still a value play. And Warren Buffett, hands down, I could see him buying into Lucid. I think, like I said, like there's a lot of upside potential when it comes to that. And not only that, he likes to buy cars that are domestic, like, and they meet that criteria. And this is the reason why a lot of people sold. So what do you guys think? Do you think we're in a bubble? Do you think we're about to pop? Or do you think I think the sell-off that happened because of this guy yesterday it just validated and showed how many new investors are actually in Lucid, right? A lot of paper hands of exactly what happened. By no means I don't agree with him. I don't think we're in a bubble. Rivian for sure is a bubble. Tesla, I think they overestimated the deals that they have with Hertz. So in that aspect, I do feel that Tesla might be considered a little bit overvalued, but Lucid, hands down, definitely isn't. A high of 55.40, that is phenomenal. That's good stuff going on. Oh, good stuff, Emma. $40. That's a good entry point for options, hands down. Honestly, yeah. I personally, even looking at this, just put this in some perspective for a lot of individuals. And I know I've done a lot of a couple live streams in the past where a lot of people say that like options are too expensive. Keep that in mind that they're expensive for a reason. There's a lot of upside potential when it comes to Lucid. So for instance, obviously the price right now, obviously 54 and change or whatever it is. Right now, the highest strike price for the 2024 is $85. So even if you potentially do, and you're paying $18.60, so again, that's 100 shares, so you're paying $1,800, but you're given the chance to buy it at 85. In reality, we most likely will probably be over 85 in January or February, possibly March, possibly March of next year. I see us easily over 85, even at that stage. Imagine what 2024 will bring. And by 2024, there should be at least progress as far as this opening in Saudi Arabia, because that's what their expectation, and they have a significant amount of money in it. So Lucid will definitely comply with that. And not only that, there's so many upside potential. So just putting that in perspective as well. On the contrary, though, even if you do want to collect premiums, this is why I've done it even in my video. Like, I don't think anyone here thinks Lucid would ever be $3. So January 19th, 2024, you can just choose, even if you want for the hell of it, choose a $3 strike price and you will easily get $37. $37, like, I know that's not much, but that is virtually risk-free. That's the most free money that anyone could ever give. And yeah, that's, sometimes I do those. I don't really generally choose that far out, but even looking at this as well, like, this is why it's more advantageous. Like, if you personally would think right now in your head, if Lucid was at $20, would you buy? If the answer is yes, then choose $20 as a strike price and buy and sell a put. And if it does get below that, then you're buying it at 20, then what you wanted originally. And if it doesn't, if it's higher than 20, then you collect the premium. So you collect $400. So in reality, that's why options are so advantageous. I sell puts all the time. Yeah, there's a lot of good ways to do that. Yeah, EVs are only a small part of the overall market. I agree with that. And I'll show you this. I kind of already showed this once, but so as far as the market caps in 2020, so you can see EV cars, Tesla has a majority share. But looking at this right now, traditional car companies, there's pretty big. This is as far as market cap. And now look at deliveries. So this is where people's argument is saying that EVs are overvalued, because if you look right here, so market caps versus deliveries. So market cap is significantly higher than what their deliveries are, versus the actual traditional vehicles have a significant amount of deliveries, but their market caps are down, right? So this is why the only argument why a lot of people think and feel that EVs are overvalued is because of this. But in reality, I don't think that at all. Oh, audio. That's a pretty good $24. That is solid. That's a very good buy. 54.40. Yeah, it looks like we. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what you see when you bounce off and fail to do a resistance. When you fail to break past a resistance point, you typically trend lower. Nothing wrong with that. A little consolidation never hurts. Natural. It's good for the overall stock. Yeah, and let's see, user 9, 20. Yeah, they're planning 20,000 vehicles 2022, which works out to be 55 a day. I need to hit that. Fairly good, good stats there. Yeah, 30 shares is still 30 shares, right? Still more than a lot of individuals, right? And considering if you look at a lot of stocks out there, Lucid is definitely outperforming a lot of them. So personally, yeah, I don't think it. I would like to see us close above 55, but I don't think that's going to happen. Most likely, it'll probably settle around in reality, probably low 53s, if not high 52s. And that's yeah, like I said, what typically happens. So yeah, the second resistance point, 53.24. So that might be a kind of a changing point, kind of where we're going. And most likely, especially over the weekend, gives a lot of opportunity for a lot of hedge funds and institutions to kind of reevaluate what they have in Lucid, especially year end as well. A lot of rebalancing as well. So most likely I do anticipate that was done yesterday, took advantage of the sell-off, they bought in. But most of the institutions you can see have an average around 23 and change, like 23, 25, 27, things like that. But a lot of good things. Oh, 54. It's just doing that in spite of me, just because I said that. Well, then maybe I'll start saying Lucid's going to go down a lot more, just to pump it up. Yeah, Lucid is one of those ones that I never want to worry about. Oh, Dalton, that's solid, 19. Yeah, usually after hours is fairly high. I didn't hear that. If they'll Marbat, if they'll be selling their tech, I don't think so. And Rob, sorry to go out of order. Do you think legacy automakers will survive? No, hands down. They have to adapt. Same as a brick and mortar kind of scenario. Just the legacy automakers will get kicked out. Well, given all the circumstances, if they do continue, they meet all their 2020 deliveries, by obviously spring, they'll have their next earnings, provide better guidance. I do see it easily over 100, most likely, at least over about 85, 100. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, a lot of good things going on. 20 minutes, 19 minutes left. Yeah, a lot of positive things when it comes to Lucid. And yeah, when let's see. Did a lot of you actually read through the report in general? I like how they added their prospectus right at the beginning as well. So 1.3 billion shares, 44 million warrants. Just building in their prospectus into their quarterly earnings. Very smart, very strategic, and literally Wall Street and investors loved it. Shows that they're able to meet good obligations, continue its growth, because like I said, they have a lot of high expectations and plans. They have so much, like, look at that, tons of cash. Honestly, there's very little. And the plus thing that I actually noticed about this, they had 232,000 in revenue. And I like that because I think it was it Formula E? I think that was. I didn't know that they did as far as battery component of that. So I was expecting almost no revenue, but they actually did. And that's the good thing about having their reports public now, being a publicly traded company. We can review and go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. Yeah, racing cars, yeah. But with all of that, 54.45, nice. So again, if you guys haven't already, smash the thumbs up, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. I do a lot of Lucid videos, a lot of Lucid stats, very advantageous. I'm very big fan of Lucid. Yeah, definitely take a look. If you haven't as well, join the membership. It's a good place. I'm going to be doing live streams just for members only as well to add into all of that fun stuff. So definitely take a look. Helps the channel out a lot. Possibly Omar. I don't know. Out of everything, I think out of Lucid, there's a lot more upside potential versus downside. So I personally wouldn't be taking profits. Obviously, Lucid, the higher it goes, especially with the amount of volume that's happening, it's going to be very volatile, 100%, especially with the resistance and support points being so far apart. There's going to be a lot of kind of swing trades. So yeah, if you are wanting to do that, you can definitely, I probably would recommend against it, although I am not a financial advisor. Just, I guess it all depends on your time horizon, right? If you are investing for the very long term, or if you're looking to take advantage of these and you expect another sell-off to happen, then yeah, I think a lot of people could have easily sold here and lowered their average, whatever it might have been, made a lot of money. But at the end of the day, if they didn't catch the bottom here, if they thought it was going to continue to go down, then yeah, they would have had to have bought a lot higher. And 54.73, look at that. It is powering strong. Love that. It's gonna be a solid day, definitely. Positive thing, a lot of people's portfolio is going to be nice and green going into the weekend. They can continue to stare at it and admire it. All the lovely things that people do over the weekends or whatever it might be. Rob, I would love to get one, and if I do get one, I would 1,000,000% review it. 100%. Actually, I was thinking of traveling down to Arizona to break into their facility. That would be awesome. GGPI, fairly good. It's profitable. It'll do fine. I was debating doing a video on GGPI, but I don't know. I like to stick to at least one company per sector for the most part. I know, that's what I love about Lucid. The whole market can be down in the red, but nope, not my Lucid. Love it. Okay, well, with all of that though, I appreciate you guys watching. I'm gonna end it there. Definitely subscribe, smash the thumbs up. Going to be doing a lot of videos over the weekend as well, so definitely take a look at that. But with all of that said, I appreciate you guys joining, and it's been fun kicking it with you guys. Let's all make a lot of money on Lucid.